this. Okay, got it. Okay, so we want to continue our lecture. We started with our lecture from Unit 1, which we looked at the e-business and e-commerce, what they are. We also did Unit 2. Please, you can remind those who are still not here that we have started the class, so kindly notify them for me. And if you have any questions, you can go to the chat room and send me a message and I'll read and respond. So Unit 2, we looked at the framework for e-business. Then Unit 3, we looked at the revenue models, how to make money out of the e-business platform. And Unit 4, we looked at how e-business changes our way of managing our organization. So change management, okay? Then the Unit 5, we'll be looking at the implementation of e-business implementation. So without wasting much time, let's look at e-business implementation. Okay, so we talk about e-business implementation and we are saying that we'll be looking at how to identify all the key steps in implementing an effective e-commerce solution. Then we'll look at the challenges, okay, that are available or the challenges inherent in e-commerce implementation. Then we will look at implementing e-business solution. So let's continue from here. Now, for us to be able to implement e-business solution in our organization, there is a need for us to go through certain solution plan, okay? So the first one is by developing a strategy. Number 2, the organization itself has to assess its readiness. Then number 3, we need to design the project. Then number 4, we need to integrate the solution. And number 5, we have to measure how effective the e-business solution that we want to put in place, how it has been. So let's take them one by one. When we say we are developing an e-business strategy, what does it mean? E-business strategy, what does it mean? There will be a deeper part of it when we get to Unit 7, okay? How to develop an effective e-business strategy. But let's start from here. Developing strategy and project objective. We are saying that a lot of companies don't take their time to go through e-commerce strategy before they actually launch it. Sometimes they just hear about the good side of e-business and they just want to jump into it to make some kind of money out of it. But they forget that it is not just a get quick solution platform. Okay, they forget that it's not just a get quick solution platform. What it means is that there are certain things industries must put in place in order to be able to benefit out of the e-business or the e-commerce environment. So we are saying that many organizations don't think through adequately before they implement e-business. And when you are not able to think through like that, you end up facing certain kind of challenges when it comes to e-business solution or e-business implementation. Then also, they also don't identify the fact that they identify the fact that they need a website, but don't go further to investigate and to identify exactly what they would be achieving or what they will be doing with the website. They know that e-business run on a web platform, which we'll be looking at some of them in our next unit, the infrastructure. So they know that they need a website, but they don't go further to ask or to investigate and identify exactly what they want to achieve with the website. And they also don't take several factors into consideration. That is, when somebody buys from them, how are they going to distribute the product to the person? How are they going to market their channels for people to know? Okay, marketing channel design, their business processes, the improvement, the revenue generation, how they are able to reduce costs in terms of transaction, and how they are going to improve their services. All these things, most companies don't take them into consideration. So what we are saying is that before implementing e-commerce, an organization must clearly define what their goal, what do you intend to achieve when it comes to the e-business or the e-commerce environment. What is your goal, or what do you intend to achieve? So these goals have to be measurable and they have to be very specific. Okay, like somebody just get into a car and he asks the person, where are you going? So I'm going to Accra, or I'm from Sunyani coming to Kumasi. Then the question is, yes, you know your destination, but it still don't explain a lot of things. It still doesn't explain a lot of things, because as an organization, before you want to implement e-business, there must be a clear goal. Why do you want to implement e-business? Is it because everybody is talking about that is why you want to do it, or is something you think that it can help you achieve certain strategic goal or objective for your organization? So all these things must be taken into consideration. Then a company must have a clear understanding of what strategic or what financial or operational objective it wants its internet business to accomplish. What strategic function that do you want it to achieve, or financial goal do you want to achieve, or operational objective? So financially, are you trying to reduce certain amount of costs, or you are trying to in terms of operation, help reduce certain repetitive kind of processes, reduce it to a very minimal process, so that there can be in the dispersing or dispatching of goods when customers are purchase from you online. So what is your clear understanding of what you intend to accomplish by implementing the e-business platform? And we are also saying that no matter which internet e-commerce activities that you choose, organization will need to determine how these activities will affect the business, the current business model. So you are currently operating a particular business model, and you need to find out whichever business model in e-commerce activity that you want to implement, how will it affect your current business model? So you will be looking at a lot of examples, and we are saying that these are some of the poor goals and some of the effective goals. Number one, assuming somebody says, I just want to have a presence on the internet. It's a poor goal. What do you do with it? But if you want to find out if the goal is really an effective one, then the person is saying that, yes, I want to be on the internet because I want to increase my customer reach by 25%. Then this person is actually having a specific goal, okay, or specific objective. Then number two, increasing awareness. What kind of awareness do you want to increase? So the actual goal should be increase brand recognition for our products and our services. So awareness of what? So this one is increase of awareness of our brand and recognition of our product and services. So improving sales. What kind of sales? No, we want to improve, let's say 25% of our sales. Reducing cost. What type of cost? Maybe reducing the support center cost by 30% over the next 24 hours, or probably reducing the cost of customer support, or decreasing the sales cost by 25%, and so on and so forth. So these are all examples of certain goals that people set, which are vague and can create problem as they want to implement the e-business solution. But if you want to have a specific one that are very effective, then it might be very specific and might be something that can be measurable. So saying that you want to increase custom, let's say reducing, let's say improving sales. This is very, if you are saying improving sales, if we're selling 10 CDs a day and we are able to sell 10 cedi, 50 pesos, yes, there has been an increase. But what kind of increase has it been? Okay, so we should be able to be something that should be very effective, and that should be something that should be measurable. Now, number two, we said number one is developing a strategy. Number two, we need to assess our readiness. How ready are we? So take stock of companies should first of all take stock of their current systems and their capabilities. What are the current systems that you have? What are your capabilities? Do you have enough IT systems? Do you have enough people to lead the information system in your organization? So take a stock of their current systems and capabilities. And what are some of the 4 key drivers that can determine if an enterprise ability to succeed in an e-commerce environment? Number one, what type of leadership style do they have? The governance, the competencies, and the type of technology that they have deployed in their organization. What type of leadership are we talking about? We are saying that senior management should involve, okay, buy into and participate in the e-commerce efforts. Those who are at the helm of affairs must be interested and must be committed to the effectiveness of the introduction of the e-business, because if they are the people who are the bankrollers, those are the people who push in money into the whole thing. So if they are not involved, if they are not aware, and if they are not enthused about the whole e-commerce or the e-business system, then what happens is that they can starve the whole project of money and the project will die off. So senior management must be involved. Number two, there should be, we should establish a competitive advantage through e-commerce. Establishing competitive advantage through e-commerce should be a top priority. So you might have other competitors who are selling similar products like that of yours. So one thing that you can do to make sure you step out of the competition is to also establish a competitive advantage through the e-commerce platform. So what others are selling, the same thing everybody is selling. You bringing e-commerce system into your organization or implementing an e-commerce strategy will help you to take a competitive advantage or be ahead of your competitors within the same what do you call it, industry, or within the same business line. So leaders must be committed in this direction. And the last issue over here is that there must be an establishment of what we call e-culture and electronic culture. That is, people must be interested in using technology. People must be interested in using what do you call it, electronic medium. Because if you have people within the organization who are averse to technology, they don't just want to have anything to do with technology, then you create a problem. So one of the things that we can use to create e-culture within an organization is through education. Okay, there can be an incentive, there can be training, there can be Sorry, the light over here went off. So please, I'm switching to a different solar system. Please, forgive me. Let me quickly do that and get back to the platform. I'm very sorry. Just give me a minute. Let me switch to the solar. Okay. Let me take it from my phone here because it looks like the. Let me take it from here. Sorry. The light. Okay, I think the light is back. So let's see. I'm very, very, very sorry. I don't know why today. I don't know why today of all days. Okay, so let me just read from here whilst I boot the machine to continue from the PC. So the next thing what we're looking at is leadership. Okay, and we are saying that what I was saying before the light went off was for us to establish what we call an e-culture. Please, I hope you can hear me. Please, can you hear me? Uh, please, if you can hear me, just type in the chat that you can hear me. Okay, good. So let's continue whilst I boot the computer to continue from there. So we're looking at how to establish an e-culture, and I know most of you have the slide from the platform. Then the next thing we should be considering is the governance. Governance. So what is governance? We're saying that there are four things that we need to look at. That's the leadership, the governance, the competencies, and the technology. Okay, so the next thing we are looking at is governance. And we are talking about governance, and we are saying that governance determines the nature of relationship within the organization. Governance determines the nature of relationship within the organization. It also involves the control. Who controls what? Accountability. When the entire IT system or the entire e-business platform, who takes the responsibility of the whole thing, and when somebody goes wrong, who is he accountable to? So accountability, responsibility, and authority. And we are saying that it's also the dynamics of this relationship determine how well an organization can respond to and take advantage of external events in the e-economy. So we are also saying that the rigid framework of many organizations in the traditional economy tend not to be very successful. So you go to most of our traditional organizations and looking at the type of governance system, the bureaucracy, if you want to do something, it has to go through certain stages, levels before finally the what do you call it? Certain decisions can be taken, and these are all very, very, very rigid system that if you implement that same thing within the e-business platform, which will create a whole lot of problem for you, the bureaucratic structures, making them rigid and inflexible to respond to e-commerce opportunities. So realize that in the e-business platform or the e-commerce platform, what happens is that when somebody make an order from you online, usually it has some certain time frame. So an order is given and it takes, let's say, like a day or two. You tell the person that, oh, we'll deliver it within 2 days or 3 days. But if internally the organization is full of bureaucracy, this person has to approve, this person has to approve, this person has to approve before the final product is released to the person. Then what happens is that the person will end up receiving the item at a later date than the anticipated date because of the bureaucracy the system has to go through. So the type of governance system is very important if you want to have an effective e-business or e-commerce, what do you call it? You want to assess whether an organization is ready to implement e-business. So governance system is very important. So we are also saying that it has been established that successful e-commerce implementation, among other things, possess the following governance characteristics. Number one, an organization that will want to, okay, I'm switching over to the computer now. Okay, so forgive me for forgive myself and ECG for the little break in the lighting system, but okay. Please, I hope you can see me. You can hear me now, right? Good, good. Please, I beg, don't bring politics in. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. So, okay. Okay, please, I hope you can hear me now. Let me see if you can hear me. Just go to the chat and just type, I can hear you. Let me continue from here. Okay, good. Okay, good. So we are saying that it has been established that successful e-business, e-commerce implementers, among other things, possess the following governance characteristics. Number one, the organization must be structured in such a way that it clearly defines the e-commerce roles and the responsibility of each member of the organization, as well as a definition of who has the decision-making power or the decision-making authority, okay? Who has the authority to make certain decisions within the e-business environment. Then number two, there must be a clear definition of how e-commerce initiative will be funded. So if you are saying an organization is ready, and if you are saying an organization is actually ready to implement e-business, then within their budget system, there must be a clear definition of how the e-commerce initiative will be funded. Then again, provide sufficient budget allocation for funding of e-commerce maintenance projects. So apart from funding the project, there should be a maintenance kind of system, and that maintenance to maintain a very good e-business or e-commerce environment, you need to also make sure that you maintain the system, because don't forget that you are going to be transacting business online, and in the online platform, it's full of hackers and other things. So you need to maintain your system in terms of security and other things. So funding for maintenance should be clearly defined. Then there should be an established method for assessing and selecting e-commerce initiative for allocating resources. Okay, so it's very, very important. It's very, very, very important for us to be able to do that. So we have to have an established method for assessing and selecting e-commerce initiative and for allocating the resources. Governance has been established. That we are also saying that it has been established that successful e-commerce implementers, among other things, possess some of these characteristics. Again, there have been established metrics for measuring the impact of e-business. So in terms of governance, whoever governs the organization or manages the organization, they have certain metrics, okay? They have certain metrics for measuring or to know whether there has been an impact of the e-business they implemented or not. And also, they have a framework for rewarding e-commerce activities, okay? So there's a framework for it. Then also have a clear definition of what drives e-commerce initiative. Is it the IT? Is it the marketing? Is it the customers, or is it the competitors? They have a clear definition. What motivates the organization to implement the e-business? Is it the customers? Is it because of for marketing purpose? Is it because of the IT, or is it because of competitors and other things? So they have a clear definition of how of what drives the e-business what do you call it, initiative. Then looking at assessing our readiness, we need to look at our competencies. How competent are we? So competencies possessed by an organization is determined by how they respond to changes in the external environment. Don't forget, in our unit 1, we said organization must have what we call strategic agility. Okay, in our unit 1, we spoke about strategic agility, and we were saying that every organization strategy must be very agile, flexible, in such that whatever the environment changes, they should be able to change to suit whatever the environment demands or wants from the organization. So because of that, organization must be able to change, respond to the changes in the external environment, and exploit available resources and opportunities. Currently, you can bear with me that the environment, the business world is changing. So if you're an organization and you are still stuck with the old kind of doing business, then you'll be locked out. Now look at something here. Let me show you something on the internet. Let me show you something on the internet. Like a company like Francophones, okay? Franco Trading Enterprise, okay? Before I started the class, I was just going through their platform. Now you see, there are a lot of companies selling mobile phones and other electronic devices. But if you want to find them, you need to come to their shop before you can find them. But Francophones have a website, okay, where almost all their product that they sell in their shops, you can find it on their website. So if assuming I want, let's say iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I search for iPhone 13 Pro Max, let's see. So I search for iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I have iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I can buy it directly from their website. Okay, I can buy it directly from their website. So I just have to choose whether I'm buying it online or I'm buying it from the shop. Okay, so assuming I'm buying it online, the price is 9,600. So if I have the money to buy, I just click on add to cart. Okay, I just go to add to cart, and when I go to my cart, so let's see. Oh, internet. So what I'm just trying to explain here is that by adding it to the cart, now I added a particular phone. Let me just take that particular phone out and be left with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, 9,600. Wow. Okay, so I can proceed to check out. Then the what do you call it? The mode of payments will come. Okay, so they have cash on delivery, or pay with a MasterCard, or pay with cash on delivery. So when the item is delivered to my doorstep, that is when I'll make the payment. So I'll fill in all my details, my phone number, my email, and other things, and they will locate me and bring the item to my doorstep. So what we are saying is that Francophones, looking at the environment, currently people don't have time to go out there looking for certain product to buy. So if you can look at what the customers or the consumers demand, they wish they can be at the comfort of their home and still enjoy the kind of services that you provide to them. So Francophone have responded to the environmental changes, okay, and exploiting their available resources and the opportunities. So companies that desire to be competent at e-commerce implementation should have the following characteristics. Number one, they should have the capability to deal with the rapid and ongoing change. People's lifestyle, behavior, taste, and everything are changing quickly. And because of that, in Kumasi here, there is a delivery service, they call it, I think, Glovo. Okay, so I can be in my house, and now maybe I say, okay, I think I want to eat, let's say, fried rice from Golden Bean restaurant in Kumasi here. I'll just call Golden Bean, pay my money, and the motor delivery service will go there and pick it and bring it to my house. Okay, because that is what people need now. So ability to deal with the rapid and ongoing change. The changes that people don't have the luxury of time to be roaming around to be able to go for certain products. So you should be able to respond to people as and when they need you. Then also the ability to adapt and drive change quickly across itself. As the changes come, how do you adapt to it and drive the change quickly? Then possession of technical competence to support internet initiative. That is everything that we are talking about, the technology, the service, everything comes with technicalities. So you need people with technical know-how, people who understand the internet initiative, how the internet works, how the e-business platform operates, and everything to be able to take full advantage of how to be able to make good, you'll be able to make a lot of money out of the internet. Then also, there should be an operational capability required to support the e-commerce initiative. Then ability and experience to manage multiple relationships, okay, both internal and external. What it means is that, you see, I didn't know the Francophone website, okay? I didn't know the Francophone website. So I went to Google, okay? I went to Google, and let me show you something here. If you can see my screen here, I'm trying to show you what happened here. Okay, so I went to Google and I typed Franco Trading, and you can see the first link, Franco Trading, and there's a small AD here, adverts. What it means is that Francophone is paying to Google, okay? Francophone is paying to Google to make their search a top priority. This ad that you can see right here, what it means is that Francophone is paying to Google for Google to publish their advert or their name out there, okay? So all these ones are very, very important. So they have paid, so they have created what we call like a link, okay? They have created something like a link with that of Google to be able to publish their what do you call it, their information or their advert on top of the list, so that when somebody is looking for the a product, they can be the one that will be on top. So what we are referring to over here is that we are saying that there should be an ability and experience to manage multiple relationships. So that is one of them that I just showed you. Okay. Then also assessing our readiness, technology. Being able to assess e-business readiness in the area of technology is a key driver of success. It's a very key driver of success, because an organization must be able to look at their technology and see whether they have built enough technology architecture that is very robust, scalable, and comprehensive. Don't forget, as I've been saying earlier on, that you see, the e-business platform is a very, very, very delicate platform. You will be dealing with a lot of people. People want to hack your system. People want to break through your system. People want to what do you call it? Steal customer information and other things. So your system might be very robust, and it might be scalable. When we say scalable, it means as and when people begin to come into your system, you should be able to open it up for more people to join, and it might be very comprehensive. And it should be one that enables organizations to develop and implement new e-commerce application rapidly. Okay, then we are also saying that organizations that have such infrastructure are in a much better position to launch e-commerce initiative rapidly and to exploit the emerging opportunities. And we know that in recent times, several organizations have taken advantage of what we call the cloud computing. Okay, that is using the online kind of storage system, and using, there's what we call software as a service. Okay, software as a service. So that is SaaS. okay, software as a service. Okay, then there's another one, software as a service. Then another one, when I remember, I'll show you. That is how people, instead of buying or building an in-house system, they try to buy an online one that is being managed by a third-party organization, and they will use it to improve their e-business system. Then also designing the project. Effective project design is one of the key to a successful e-commerce implementation. So without effective project design, it is very unlikely that all the pieces will come together for a successful implementation. So just like you want to build a house, you need a very good plan, okay, the building plan, to go through it, to be able to bring the pieces of the house together. So knowing that, okay, bedroom has to be over here, the kitchen has to be here, this one has to be there, that one has to be there. So when you're able to put all these pieces together, then it forms a complete house together. So it's the same thing with the e-business project. If you want to implement it, the effective way to do it is that we need to make sure that there should be a designing plan. Effective project design must be implemented so that all the pieces will come together for a successful implementation. So some of the requirements for implementing e-commerce project include, number one, we need to manage the project itself. We need to find out, do we need to develop some of the things in-house? That is, do we need to do it in-house or we need to outsource? So very soon, I'll be talking about the outsourcing strategy. What will prompt an organization to either develop item in-house, or they will need to outsource it to a third party, So we need to also select an internet service provider. When we talk about internet service provider, we are talking about the one who will be supplying you with the internet connectivity. Okay, so in Ghana here, we have MTN, Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo, we have Cloud, we have a lot of internet service providers. Then we need to look at which e-commerce service providers are we supposed to use. Currently, I know Jumia provides service for e-commerce. So if you have a product and you want to sell on Jumia platform, they have that platform for you. So if you have a product that you want to sell, you want people outside the country to be able to see and be able to buy from you here in Ghana, then Jumia has that kind of e-commerce platform. So Jumia is an example of an e-commerce service provider. Then number two, the last one over here is you have to design the website security. So if your website is not too secured, people will be able to find ways to break into your security of your system and steal vital information, or probably even order items from you and will not pay money. Okay, so you need to make sure you do that. So managing the cost factor of the organization, how do we manage it? It's a very important thing we should take into consideration. An important aspect of project management is determine what the real cost of the project is likely to be. So number one, the platform cost. How many hardware systems do we need? Talking about the computers, the servers, the switches, and the hubs, and all those things. Number two, we'll be looking at more into this in our next lecture, which is our Unit 6 lecture, the infrastructure. Then the system software. What type of software do we need? Operating system. Are we going to use Linux? Are we going to use Windows? Are we going to use Mac? Which operating system that we are going to use? The web software and the tools, the peripherals, the networking and infrastructure, security, internet connection costs. All these things are very, very necessary to take into consideration. Then also the content, digital content creation, design, enhancement, digital catalog. So if I'm to take you to Francophones, okay, like I just showed you right just some few minutes ago, you realize that all the phones and the other things that Francophones are displaying in their site, okay, they take their time to get somebody to design and put the prices and all these graphics, okay? So these are part of content creation. So sometimes just the pictures alone are very catchy. That can make somebody even buy the product. That is why sometimes you see something online, it looks very nice, it looks very catchy, but you buy it and bring it home and you realize that, Charlie, you have bought some rags or some chaff. So look at how even the picture here keeps scrolling over, changing from one to the other. So all these things are part of the system. So the content, the digital content creation, the design and enhancement, the digital catalog, the content management system, the applets, the other internet software tools, and all those things. So all these things are also very, very important. Then also integration. How do you integrate customers' database system, legacy system integration, data mining interfaces, application to application integration, business process integration, and the workflow? So we'll be looking at more into integration in our next unit, which is our unit 6. So managing the cost. Another thing we should also be worried about, or we should be interested in, is about the human resources, various human costs in technical and business responsibility. So people who will be handling the technical aspects and people who will be handling the business responsibility, all those are part of the human resources. Then how will people hear about our e-business solution? There must be promotion, there must be marketing. So either we are going to use both online kind of marketing system, or we are going to use something which is an offline. So when Tonaton started in Ghana here, those of you who were here, Ghana here, OLX and Tonaton, you could hear them advertising on TV3 and other media platform about Tonaton.com, because though it's an online platform, people don't know about it. So you should be able to make or promote it in a traditional media landscape for people to know. So the cost of launching the business, educating people about the product, what you have, advertising, public relation, link to other websites, direct mail activities, and other print media. Then also maintenance. Okay, maintenance, support, and upgrade are also aspects that need to be considered in the project design phase. Maintenance is one of the things that has to be taken into consideration. Now, as I said earlier on, if we want to develop a project, we need to ask ourselves, do we need to develop it in-house or we should outsource? Now, if we want to outsource a project, what are some of the things that should inform our decision whether we should outsource it or we should give it to somebody else to do it on our behalf? Number one, is the project a core competency? When we say something is a core competence, what that means, that is what we are known for. That is what everybody knows how to, everyone knows, they know that this is what we are known for. So if that is our core competence, then there's no need to give it to somebody else, because we have the needed skills, we have the needed people to be able to do it in-house. But if it's not our core competency, it's not part of our core competency, and somebody else is an expert in that field, then we give it out for somebody else to do it on our behalf. But if we need to do it ourselves, then it means that probably it's part of what we are known for and that we need to develop it in-house. Number two, is the technology a commodity? The technology that will be needed to implement that particular system, is this something that can be easily be found out there? If it is something that I can just go out there and buy it, then why not? I will just buy it and use it. But if it is something that is proprietary, it's something that certain few people, it needs specialized trained people to be able to use that particular technology, then there will not be any need for me to do it myself. Then I have to let somebody else do. But if it is something that I can just get it out there, less expensive, then there's no need to give it to somebody else to do it on my behalf. Then what is the technology and project rate of change? How long does it take for that technology to change or expire? There are certain technology that you buy today, within a short period, the technology has phased out. You need to go for a newer one. Just like our mobile phone systems, okay? Now, I just showed you iPhone 13 Pro Max. It was just launched last year. I think last year, May, June, July, around the same time. That was when it was launched. But by September this year, Apple is going to release iPhone 14. So this one will be out of the market. So it's the same thing that happens to certain other technologies that are out there that people will you invest a lot of money into it, and at the end of the day, you realize that within a short period of time, that technology will phase out of the system, and it will create a whole lot of problem for you. So it is very, very, very important for us to be able to know if a technology will expire within a short period, then there's no need for us to buy it. There are people who, after they have used it, they will need it to do other things. So let's give it to them to do. So if the technology and the project is expected to change rapidly, okay, then internal development closely coupled to business may be a preferred option. This is because it will take a long time for contractors or consultants to understand the business process. So if what the business will stand for will change within a period of time, it keeps changing from time to time, then we are the core business. We understand how the technology or the business model is. So if it changes, we know how to go along with it. But if we are to give it to somebody and there's a change, he needs to come back to us, and that we need to explain the whole thing before the person can be able to catch up. So that means we need to do it in-house. Then the next thing is, to what extent does the project need to be integrated? If a project has few and well-defined interfaces with an organization called business system, then it may be a good candidate for outsourcing. If a project has a few and well-defined interfaces, like, you see, anytime you contract somebody to do a business on your behalf, one thing you should be rest assured is that the person will need to understand your business itself. And you know, businesses, there are certain things that you don't want to share with other people. It's an internal decision. It's an internal knowledge that it doesn't have to go out. So to what extent does the project need to be integrated? If a project has few and well-defined interface with an organization called business system, then it may be a good candidate for outsourcing. But on the other hand, if it is a very complex and a custom integration work is required to interface the application with the existing in-house system, then internal development and operation may be more pragmatic. The obvious reason is that of security, because as much as you are exposing your internal interfaces and internal application to external sources, you cannot guarantee how secure your system is going to be, or who will need those particular information that you are divulging out there to use it against the organization. So in that case, the best option would be developing it in-house. Then, if we need to select an internet service provider, what are some of the things we need to look at? Number one, is the internet service provider ISP supply many services required for the internet commerce. They connect individuals and organizations to the internet, and they provide what we call the hosting services. So you create a website, somebody needs to host your website for you. We'll have a detail about it in our next unit. So let me just briefly explain it here. And when we get to the main one, I will explain it over there. So they provide hosting services for website or other internet application. Then we are also saying that our ISPs or the internet service providers may provide transaction services such as payment system for e-commerce applications. So currently, MTN, being an internet service provider, is also at the same time providing a payment system, which is the mobile money service. Vodafone has a mobile money service. Airtel Tigo has a mobile money service. So businesses, by selecting our internet service providers, can also consider to use some of these e-commerce applications that their service providers are providing out there. Then we can also, by selecting an internet service provider, there are certain things we should take into consideration. Who should we select to give or to supply us internet? Number one, the cost of the desired bandwidth. How much are they ready to charge us for the internet service they are providing to us? You know, in the corporate world, if you are connecting an internet to your house, or you're connecting an internet to your premise or your organization, you are charged based on the speed of the internet that they are providing to you. So if they are giving you 1 megabyte per second, okay, it has its cost. If you need 10 megabytes, it has its cost per second. So the speed of the internet will determine how much you're supposed to pay. Then number two, how reliable is their service? how reliable is the internet service provider? How quickly do they respond to problems? In one of my offices, we were connected to one particular internet service provider, which I don't want to mention here. And the unfortunate thing is that anytime they have a problem and you call them, they can toss you like 3 months and they will never come. So how reliable is the internet service provider? Because whatever internet service they are providing to you, that is the basis for your operation. So if they will be tossing you up and down, then that is going to be a big problem. Then the next thing is extra services. What additional services that the ISP provide? Are they required? If not, the organization will be paying for services that is not, which they do not use. So what we can be doing here is that, apart from the internet service that we are receiving from our service providers, we want to find out if there are other services they are providing, and those services, do we need it? And if we don't need it, can we renegotiate with them for them to take those one out to reduce our internet service costs? If not, we will be paying for some services we might not even need. It's like having a DSTV in the house. There are certain channels you might not even open the channel for the rest of your life, or for the rest of the life of the what do you call it, the DSTV, but yet you are paying for it. But if, assuming DSTV will tell you that, okay, I'm somebody who is interested in football, so I go to DSTV and I tell them that, okay, I need just the sports channel. How much will it cost me a month? And they'll tell me, okay, the full package was supposed to, let's say, 300, but we can give the sports channel to you for 150 cedis a month. Then I'll just stick to my sports, and that'll be so that I don't pay for certain channels that I don't need. So the same thing with our internet service providers. We need to find out what type of services so that we don't pay for what we don't need. Then how do we also select our internet commerce service providers? And I gave you an example of a service commerce, and I said one of them is Jumia. Kiku also provide that same service. You can be in Ghana here and you can sell your products on Kiku Ghana. So then the next step beyond hosting services for internet commerce application are the transaction services. That is providing the infrastructure for order capturing. So let me show you something over here. So assuming I go to Jumia, okay, assuming I go to Jumia and I want to sell on Jumia platform, okay, okay, so they have sell on Jumia. So I click on sell on Jumia and start selling on Jumia. There are certain process that I need to go through. I need to create my shop. I need to account manager first name. A lot of information will be required from me. Then when I fill in all these details, they will, when I fill in all these details, they will ask me to provide certain documents to prove my business. So business information, payment details, and other things. So I need to prove my worthiness before they will accept me to sell my product on Jumia platform. So before we can select an e-commerce platform to be able to sell our product on, what are we supposed to do? We need to look at the entities that is providing such services. And those are the people, we call them the commerce service providers, or the CSP. Then also we need to, there are certain banks, okay, for example, that will provide the transaction services for internet commerce as an extension of their services. So there are some certain banks that will provide a CSP kind of services. And if you have, or you are fortunate to have some of them here, you can use them. But currently, I don't know any bank that provides that service here. I don't know, but I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Maybe there might be a service, a bank that is providing that particular service, but I'm not aware of any currently. Then, what are some of the important issues we should consider in terms of that? Number one, what kind of payment system are they supporting? You know, in Ghana here, about, I can say on authority that between 80 to 90% of the people who are on the mobile service or the internet service are all probably, maybe, if I'm not, I'm speaking out of vacuum, not from any research perspective, but I can say between 90 to 95% of people who will be on the internet. They have what do you call it? Access to a mobile money service, either MTN mobile money, Vodafone, or any other mobile money service. So we need to look at the what do you call it? The CSPs. What type of payment system do they support? Currently, I don't like buying from AliExpress too much, simply because of their type of payment system. They only support what do you call it? Visa. And I'm someone who is a little bit quite reserved when it comes to using my Visa card to make certain transactions. Okay. When I have to use my Visa card to make certain transaction. So this particular platform only accepts Visa, especially for those of us from this part of the world. So over here too, you can sell on AliExpress. Okay. If I want to sell here, I can sell my product on AliExpress and I have to go through certain conditions. So we need to look at the type of payment system that they support. Number two, does the CSP handle the kind of business model that you are doing? Are you doing a business to business model or business to consumer model, or what type of model? So Jumia currently and AliExpress currently is a business to consumer, what do you call it? Commerce, but that of Alibaba.com, okay? Alibaba is purely a business to business, a B2B, okay? Alibaba.com is a purely B2B. It's business entities and they deal with only businesses, okay? So if you come here and you see any products, they will tell you the number of quantities they are ready to ship out, okay? If you go there, they will tell you this one, they have the minimum they can ship out is 30 pieces. This one, the minimum they can ship out is 50 pieces. This one, the minimum they can ship out is 25 pieces. So they deal purely with businesses, okay? But AliExpress deals with individuals. Jumia deals with individuals and all the others. So you need to look at the type of commerce service that you are selecting and what type of e-commerce they support. The next one, what is the cost structure? Is the pricing based on flat rates? Okay. Is their pricing based on flat rates? Don't forget that when you are selling on their platform, they will charge you. So you want to find out, is it going to be a flat rate? Let's say you have to pay, let's say 200 cedis every month, or are they going to charge you based on in the number of transactions that you are going to do on their platform? So assuming they are saying that, okay, every product that you sell, we have, let's say 5% in whatever product you sell on our platform. So you need to find out if it's a flat rate and you want to go for a fine. If it is a transaction volume or transaction value or something else, then you would decide which one will be good for you. Then what kind of reports are available to the seller? Then the next one, what and when are the funds transferred to the seller? Don't forget that if I buy something from Jumia and I pay money, the money doesn't go directly to the one who sold the thing to me, that is the supplier. The money first of all goes to Jumia. So when I have received the product and I'm satisfied with the product, then I'll tell Jumia that yes, the person has supplied me the product and I'm okay with it before they are able to release the money to the supplier. So we need to find out what is their what kind of report, how and when are the funds transferred to the seller? Does the commerce service provider provide customization of ordering and payment process for customers? On AliExpress, previously on AliExpress, when you want to buy something from a particular supplier, let's say I want to buy this particular product. Okay, let's say I want to buy this particular product. This let's say, let me go back and choose the fan rather. It's a USB solar fan. Okay, let me just choose anything else. Assuming this wood cutting device, I want to buy this wood cutting device. Previously, what happened was that you could chat with the supplier and ask him for a reduction of the price. But I learned that some of the suppliers were finding ways and means of dealing with the customers backdoor. without the knowledge of AliExpress. And because of that, they closed that platform. And some of them were using it to cheat others. So they will talk to you backdoor and tell you that, oh, this is 437. You bring 300, I'll give it to you. You pay the money, but the person will not send the item. And you can also blame AliExpress because you dealt with the supplier behind their back. Okay, you dealt with the supplier behind their back, and they wouldn't mind because when you wanted to do it, you did it at their blind side. So they have now taken out the chat portion from it. So currently, if you are buying from something, you can only see the one you are buying from, but you cannot talk to him. You cannot chat with the person. That is one of the things they have done to protect their brand and their integrity. So does the service provider provide customization? So assuming this is the machine I want to buy, okay, I can ask the supplier that, okay, this is a red machine. Please, can you get me, let's say, a black one? I don't need a red, I need a black one. Can you give me a black one? And if the person agrees and has a black one, he gives it to me. Okay, so customization, does the service provider allow customization on their platform? So that is a very, very important point to consider. Designing the website security. Security is one of the primary areas of concern when it comes to online platform. Okay, very, very important. So how secure is the computer and the networking system supporting the e-commerce? Can authorized users log into the system? That is only people who are supposed to be on the system. Then can information be protected from different users? Is the system physically secured? Who can get into the computer system room? So all these things are very, very important when it comes to security in terms of the e-commerce platform. Designing website security, communication security. It is often important to protect your content, the content of a message from eavesdroppers. People who, when we talk about eavesdropping, there are people who can log into your system and see whatever is happening over there. It's like two people communicating and you can say somewhere and you're listening to them, but you pretend like as if you're not listening. That's what you call eavesdrop. So in networking or in IT system, people can eavesdrop your communication on your system, and which is very, very serious. So you need to protect your system from eavesdropping. Data security. After data has been communicated securely, organization must be concerned about how the data is protected in the end system. Then authentication. Anytime you are logging onto a computer and you are asked to enter your username and your password. So as soon as you go there and they ask your username, that is who are you? So you enter Rita Frimpong. How am I sure it's you? Then you enter your password to authenticate you. So password are common method of authenticating users' computer system, although there are other systems. You can use the face recognition, the fingerprint system, the voice control, and a whole lot of system. So in developing an internet e-commerce platform, an organization must also consider how to integrate its e-commerce application with other business processes. And also electronic commerce system integrates with existing system in a manner that avoids duplicating. So those ones must also be taken into consideration. It is important to measure the return of e-commerce investments. So a successful e-commerce company have a standard for measuring, okay? A standard metric for measuring how successful the e-business has been. And how do you measure some of them? How has it helped to reduce costs? The number of support calls that we were able to support customers, the total marketing that we were able to do, or the percentage of items we were able to sell within a particular time period, the cost per order dollar, how many people ordered on our online platform, the economic growth metrics, the online sales, how many sales were we able to do online, the number of transactions that we were able to complete online. People come, like as I showed you on the Francophone website, when you are buying any of their products, one of the things they want you to do is to specify whether you are buying it from the shop or you are buying it online. So it is very, very, very important to do or to choose which of them you want to use. Then customer satisfaction and rich metrics. how satisfied are the customers? So online customer satisfaction survey score. Customers will be, that's why we started this class, and I was asking you the last time we met online, how was it? Are you okay with everything? Because we need to know you are the customers of the university, and we want to know how satisfied are you with some of the services that we are providing with you. The number and percentage of the return visitors, those who came to buy from us the previous day, how many of them, or those who came to visit our site, how many of them went and are coming back again? And also the site reach, the number of new visitors that visit our website on daily basis. How many people come to our website just to look at things or to register and buy something from us? So all those metrics will help us to know how successful our e-business or e-commerce has been. Then quality control metrics, the operation metrics, we have the quality control, the percentage of server uptime. How many times did our system go off? And how many times did our system remain online throughout? The compliance with look and feel, how people saw the items online, and when people actually saw the product, how were they okay? Okay, navigation economy policy. So all those things are very important. Then the last thing we want to look at over here is the challenges of e-commerce implementation. Companies can face significant implementation issues. Number one, technological. Number two, organizational and business. Number three, legal and regulatory. Number four, the behavioral and educational. So technological, it has to do with security, availability, interoperability of some of the system, the scalability of the system, lack of richness and depth of content, and all sort of stuff. Then in terms of organization and business, lack of understanding of potential value of e-commerce, lack of business process integration, and a whole lot of lists, as you can see over there. Then legal and regulatory issues, no policy to regulate the e-commerce activities, lack of consistent rules and policy. Then behavior and education, that is the trust and privacy issues, the fraud and the cyber crime, the lack of awareness, all those things, and other challenges, including the channel conflict, inability to achieve critical mass fulfillment, and all sort of things. So this brings us to the end of units, the first unit. And if there is any question, I would love to address it so that we can move on to the next unit quickly because of the time.